There you are. Today we're going to do something really exciting. We're going to make an event study on Apple. We're going to study what happened over the past 60 days. It's going to be a roller coaster ride up and down. And we're going to look at what caused the ups and what caused the downs. And you will totally enjoy it. See you soon in Excel. In this event study, we will use the Excel spreadsheet that is uploaded on Blackboard. We'll make some calculations, make a couple nice graphs, and also look at these graphs and see why did the stock market move up or down, and then add some text boxes explaining what caused some of these movements. The statistical data comes from Yahoo Finance. You'll need to enter the ticker symbol AAPL for Apple, go under historical data, and download the data in case you need to grab it for a different project. So here we are at yahoofinance.com, and you'll enter the ticker symbol AAPL. Click enter, you get up all the information on Apple, and in this case we're going to grab the historical data, and you will change the time period here so you can actually get enough data points for a 200-day moving average. You can just type something in like 2010. That's more than we possibly would need. Click done, and then click apply to make that adjustment to all the data. Then we click download data, and it will pop up on the bottom here, and you can click open. And once you have data like this, you can decide what to use. In this case, we're going to just use the high, the low, and the adjusted close. We don't need volume. So this is where you got the data for your template. In the Excel template that is available on Blackboard, you'll find that one column here under A has the number of days in it. It helps you to just make calculations based on certain data points. You'll have date, the high of the day and the low of the day, and the adjusted close. And we're going to calculate the 50-day and 200-day, a daily change, and an event change calculation. So let's start with the 50-day moving average. What we want to do is use the equation equal sum opening parenthesis, and then we're going to grab the data, which is the first 50 days all the way down here. And this is why I have the day listed here, so we know that it's 50 versus 51. It's easy to make a mistake like that and not catch it. Then end the parenthesis divided by 50, and then we get the moving average for this first day of the data that we're going to use. And then we just copy it down, and the way we do it is we hover the mouse over the bottom right corner until we get the plus sign, and then we copy that all the way down. Actually, we don't need it that far. This event study is going to just focus on the 30 days prior and after our event day. In this case, it's February 12, which should be the all-time high of the Apple stock before our Corona crash. For our 200-day moving average, we're going to sum up 200 data points all the way down to 200. We'll look for 200 right here. So it's day 200 and not the line item 201. That might make us confused, or actually 201. So that's the data point. So in this case, E2 to E201, and the parenthesis divided by 200, and we get our data points in, and then we can double click that, and it copies all the way down way more than we need. but we don't have to worry about that anyway. Now, the daily change is going to focus on the daily change 30 days prior to the data event. So before February 12th. So we're going to start at 0 in this case. And that means that we're going to take December 30th divided by December 30th close divided by the same day, which gives us 0%. Now, the second cell, so day 29, we're going to actually see day over day change. So we're going to have the 229 less the 290 divided by the 290 to see how it changed. And this change example is up 0.73%. Now once we have that, we can actually copy this all the way up. There we go. We actually don't need this data point, so I'm going to just delete it because it's easy. I don't necessarily want this to be, oops, it moves way too fast. All gray. The only days that I want gray is for this line, but we're going to just take that away for now and then put it back once we're done making changes. So now we have the data for the daily change, and then we want the data for the event change. So that means that we're going to compare everything with day 0 right over here. And in this case, we're going to make sure that we get a 0, but we will also lock these cells. Okay, so we're going to take whatever data point up or down, so we're going to allow Excel to travel. This little box is going to travel up and down when we copy it, but we're going to add the dollar signs here, so we lock the cells when we make the calculations. So when we copy this up, we're going to see that this cell is being divided by that cell as illustrated up here. So we're going to just copy that up, and then we'll copy this downwards, and then our calculations are complete. The next part that we're going to do is we're going to make a nice little picture on the high and the low, the 50-day and 200-day. So let's do that. So that means that we're going to grab these dates and grab it only to the 30-day right there. Now we're going to use the control button, control, and grab these. So hold down control and then left click and pull down until you hit the desired range, which is down to 30. So indirectly it's going to be 61 data points. Then we go to insert up here, find our favorite squiggly line, and here we go. So an easy thing to do before we move this is to just adjust the x-axis here, which means that we mark it, right click, then left click and format axis. I'm sorry, we're going to do that next. So right click, select data, so we can change this column here, edit, and use the desired dates, and we're going to grab that, click OK. Got the dates all figured out, and it should have adjusted it into our little picture. Now we're going to move this one and put it in a new sheet like that, and here you can change the name, for example Apple moving average, and then click OK, and then it moves. So we want to change the title here, Apple event study, or something that is fitting. You might want to change the range here of data points, and here's where we're going to format axis. And here you can change and say every 5 days, for example. And once you do that, you have to either click OK, or use the tab to move somewhere else, and you see how it's changed. Now you see that there's data points that you can grab. Once you hover the mouse over the line, you can get what day and so on it is. Now there's a lot of information we don't need. There's no data between 0 to 200. So what we want to do here is change this axis as well, and it starts by minimum at 0. We can probably change that to 200. Let's see how that changed. We can probably change it to 210. So it has a little bit, you don't want it to go beneath here, so you cut the picture off. And it doesn't go higher than $330, so let's change that to $330. Now you have all kinds of nice exaggerated lines here. This is what we're going to try to figure out what it all means. I have found that if I buy stocks under the 50-day moving average and 200-day moving average, like in this area right here, I typically will be able to make money on the buy. When I mean make money on the buy, that means that I got it at such a good price that it's not very hard to sell the stock at a profit. Now if you sell, or if you buy the stock up here, you have to wait and for a long time to be able to make money, meaning that it has to actually break through its all-time high before you can actually make a profit. But if you buy it at the right price, it's typically easier to make money. Another part that we're going to do is insert text boxes like that, where we're going to say, for example, all-time high. And then we're going to go, we're going to move, oops, if you make any mistakes, always use the backtrack. Move it here because I think all-time high is around here. Remember, this is the high and the low of each day. It doesn't mean the price that it's actually settled in. It would actually, bounce up and down in between here several times every day sometimes. And then we're going to insert a nice little straight line, maybe one with an arrow, and say point that upwards, and say, and if we want to change the color, have it purple for some reason, and have it really fat, we can do it that way and just move this little title up. That's all-time high. Now what we want to do is add all these little lines and arrows to all these ups and downs, especially on this side. What happened here to cause the market to go down, and what is this weird little market here where it seems like it was really high volume, very large volatility, and then it dropped. And why did it go up and down? So we'll add a bunch of lines, and once we have added a bunch of lines, we should add hover over and add the dates, like March 12th. What happened in this point? So we'll break this down and look at all these different data points when it's moving up and down, and then go to, for example, CNBC.com and search on that particular day and see what major macroeconomic data or firm-specific data for Apple happened that caused the price to either go up or down that given day. When you go to CNBC.com, you can enter dates, for example, Feb 28, and then say Apple. Okay, and then you should get up a bunch of information here about Apple for February 28th as a data point. Then when you're done, you write, say, Trump, and say Feb 20, and see what happens in that case, where we can have Dow down 900, second quarter biggest quarter begins, everything is horrible. So you might want to look at coronavirus related news and Apple related news to understand why the stock and the stock market moved so drastically. And that's a part of the event study and part of the fun. The second picture we're going to create is this beautiful one right there. And so we're going to go back here and insert another squiggly line and create a nice little picture. Same thing here. Before we move it, let's just format and select data, click on edit. We will have we'll just grab the dates for this. Oops, not so far. Right there. Click OK and OK. Now we should have the dates and everything put in order. And here we can see that everything is kind of normal, and then somewhere around here we have all-time high, and after that we have global shutdown because the coronavirus decided to hit us big time. And here we can see how the market kind of stayed flat, and then we lost a bunch of money. And the daily change really points out how much volatility we have had over the past couple of weeks. We will then move this line or this beautiful picture to a new data sheet. Here, let's see, move right there. Okay. And just like the previous one, you'll change the name. You could adjust the columns here, maybe change the colors of the lines, add arrows, describe what event happened where, so that this picture has more information to it. Howdy, I hope you enjoyed every moment of this Excel spreadsheet roller coaster when it comes to looking at the ups and downs in the market for Apple. And if you have learned something, you will figure out how to make some good old-fashioned money on it. So, until next time, see ya.